Hey YouTube, and welcome into another video. Today we're going to be heading back over to the tier list maker, and we're going to be doing the 2020 NFL running backs. This list includes the rookies. We did this a long while back, ranking the top quarterbacks in the league on tier maker. I just want to do something else. I mean, obviously there's a lot of lack of stuff to do in this offseason. We could do more Madden videos, like rebuilds and stuff like that. It's hard to do those rebuilds, I've explained before, just because it's hard to go through and do everything with the rookies, and it's just a longer process than it should be. And plus, I want to save those for Madden 21 when that comes out, because I really would like to do those rebuilds with the actual new Madden. I don't want to waste the rebuilds now and repeat it later. So we're going to be doing this right now, and we're just going to go through it. There's a couple running backs. I've already kind of looked through the list and seen just kind of who's here, just to make sure it's there. There's a couple weird ones, like we'll see. I mean, just off the top of the bat, we have Madison, and then I think that's Amir Abdullah, as well as Dalvin Cook over here. So like they threw in a lot of running backs for some teams, and then they didn't throw in some running backs. We'll figure it all out then. But if there ever is a time where you might see a cut in the video, it's probably just because I'm looking up to see which one it is, just because there's a bunch of different guys that we could have here. But without further ado, we pretty much can do it. So if you are new to tier list makers, which first of all, you missed out on a huge season of YouTube, like probably almost a year ago, where everyone was doing tier lists. But right here for this one, I deleted a couple of them. I'm gonna put the link in the description to this, where you can make your own tier list as well. Let me know what you have. Tweet at me or send it to me on Instagram or something. Those links are in the description for you. Also, before we get on, if you are new to the channel, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. We do all NFL content on the channel, Madden, fantasy football, etc. So you want to make sure that you're still around for this all. But I changed some of the categories here just because there was like 7 or 8 that were here, and it just seemed like a lot. So we have elite, which is going to be the best of the best. Star, who are very good, but they're not the elite level. Star potential just means they have the potential to become that star. Maybe they're just a pretty good running back right now, or etc. Above average, that just means they're a pretty good running back. Serviceable means that they won't lose their job, but they're not really going to make any wow. You think of maybe like a Ronald Jones last year or something like that. And then backup is just somebody who I just don't think should be a starting running back in the NFL. So without further ado, we'll get started here, and we're starting off with Aaron Jones, and this one is going to maybe be a little unpopular, but I'm putting him in the elite category. Now, the reason I put him in the elite category is he just had an absolute breakout year this last year. And this might not be the final list. We might go through at the end of the thing, switch it around, make sure everything's good, and you'll see that at the end of the video. But what he did last year just showed that when you put the ball in his hands, he's going to be able to do something special with it. What did he have, like 18 touchdowns or something on the ground? He had some insane number of touchdowns. And the thing is that he was still splitting carries, man. And the disappointing part is that the Packers have never given him the chance to be a bell cow back. That's probably due to wanting him to stay healthy, wanting everyone to stay healthy, etc. It's most likely a good plan. So he's never going to get those elite numbers that you want to see out of the guy, because he could be able to blow it out of the water if he was a lead back, given a role like a Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry or somebody else that's probably going to be on this league category is going to get. So they never unleashed him. I mean, they just drafted A.J. Dillon, who's going to take a lot of those goal line touchdowns away from Aaron Jones. I know that in games, as a fantasy football owner of Aaron Jones, I know that in games when he would fumble once, they take him out for like 3 drives after. It's just it's a very short leash in Green Bay right now for running backs, and it sucks. But when his talent level is elite, his production is not always going to scream elite, just due to the fact that they don't give him that opportunity. But I do view him as an elite running back, and this is all current day right now. So like as of right now, where I view these guys, and because of that, Adrian Peterson, he's going to be down here all the way in serviceable. He's going to get you a few yards. He's still going to be able to fight for those extra yards and stuff. He can break off the occasional run, but that top-end speed that he used to have just isn't there really anymore. And on top of that, he is, 34, 35, something like that. Running backs usually are almost always retired by then, unless their name is Franco or Adrian Peterson. So it is weird to see him this late in his career. I'd be surprised if he's still on the roster for the Redskins at the beginning of the season, just due to the fact that they have so many different running backs that keeping an aging Adrian Peterson would really only be a veteranship role. Which I don't know if they want to pay him for that, but he's serviceable. He can definitely do what Frank Gore is doing right now and get another job with a team, to where he can play if someone gets injured, or he can just be there to hopefully get a ring. But right now Adrian Peterson at this point in time is just a serviceable player. I think that he's still, if he was a starting running back for the Redskins day one, I don't think it's horrible, but I don't see him as too good of a starting running back anymore. He's not as bad as being a backup, but I think he is a serviceable starter at this moment in time. Then we go here, and this is A.J. Dillon, who we just talked about. We're going to put him in the backup category for right now, just because right now we don't know what we're getting out of a guy like him. who is a day 2 pick. He's a power back, very big running back. It's a similar frame to what Derrick Henry has. I don't think he's going to give the production that Derrick Henry did, because Derrick Henry was a Heisman winner and just a beast at Alabama, but he is going to be able to power through for some touchdowns. I think it's going to be a couple years before he can become a little bit higher on this tier list, but he is going to help out that tandem with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, because they rotate in and out. They do so much in the pass game as well. Both Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones are both very good in the pass game. So there's a playbook formation now that is able to use 3 running backs for Green Bay, and I'd love to see if they tried that this upcoming season. But as of right now, I think A.J. Dillon is just as the backup. Then we got over down here to, I believe this is Alexander Madison. It could be Mike Boone, but I'm pretty sure this is Alexander Madison. And I'm having him as a serviceable running back as well. When he plays, he is very good. He shows that he has the potential to be a starting running back in this NFL, especially with Dalvin Cook holding out right now. We don't know if he will be a starting running back. But as of right now, I like what Alexander Madison can give you. I think that his production is very good. I think that if he is the starting running back, he will be serviceable. We'll see how good he can actually be with a starting role. But as of right now, he is a backup to a superstar elite running back. And I think that right now, what we have in him is just serviceable until we see him in a long period of time. Then we go over to Alban Camara. Now, last year, he did have the injury, but I am going to throw him here in the elite category now. This guy, when healthy, was just an absolute monster. I mean, this is a beast, a physical and just beast of a player, not even just a running back, due to the fact that his ability to catch in and out of the backfield is insane. Even with Mark Ingram, even with Latavius Murray, he has been able to outshine everybody. He's been able to, even getting honed in on by opposing defenses, still shine, break tackles, make jukes. I mean, he is an all-around running back, and he does it so well. I'm excited to see what this guy can do after a few years. He's upcoming a big contract soon. Hopefully the Saints are able to pay him for that, and I can't wait to see what they can do this year with a full-on healthy Alvin Kamara. Then we go over to Amir Abdullah, who I think this is. I'm just going to throw him in backup. I don't really think highly of him. He's just a backup running back. There's not really much more to say about that. Austin Eckler, I'm going to throw him here in star potential. Now, the reason why I don't have him in star right now is because we've only had 1 year of him actually playing a lot. His first year he was decent. Then last year he had a bigger role, and he did very, very good numbers with that, especially in the fantasy football aspect. But the Chargers just weren't good. Without Phillip Rivers now, let's see what he can do. He was now paid to be a starting running back. I think that he has the potential to be a star in this NFL, but as of right now, I just don't think that he is that right now. But he has the ability to, and I think that that's something that we can really look at in this season. He just got paid. He has the lead role. Can he outshine these guys, or is it going to be a committee with him and is it Jackson behind him? I'm trying to think who's behind him, because I know they drafted Joshua Kelly, and I think it's Justin Jackson behind him as well. But yeah, definitely has the potential to be a star in this day and age in the NFL. Then we have Benny Snell here. I'm actually going to put Benny Snell in serviceable. I was really high on him coming out of Kentucky. I really liked him out of Kentucky. And he landed in a place where I think that he can become a starting running back. James Conner I was never really too big on. I think that he's a very good running back, but I just don't. Everyone thought he was a star, and everyone thought he was great. We'll get to him later in the video. I don't want to talk too much about him, but as of right now, I think that what you have in Benny Snell is pretty solid. I think that you can get a lot out of Benny Snell. But the problem is that we don't know what he's going to be as a starting running back. I think that he can line up here with the Madisons and the APs of our list. It looks like we have Cam Akers here. Now, Cam Akers, I think, is an above-average running back. He did so good here at Florida State in his college career. And one of the biggest things about him, too, is that when you look at what he did at FSU, and then you look at how bad their offensive line has been, it's pretty impressive. So for him to go into a situation in the NFL with the LA Rams where it's not really that good of an offensive line, it's not something he's not used to, so I think he'll be able to produce similar to what he did in college. But they're building it up. Havenstein and Whitworth are still very good. They're going to be able to, over the next few years, build it up more. To where I think Akers will have a pretty solid job, but I think that he is I think he will come into the league and be an above-average starter. I think that he has that ability to become a star potential guy, but I think right now, not seeing anything in him, he's just going to be there at above average. Then we got over here, and this I believe is Chris Carson, if I do believe so. One second, let me look closer. I can't really tell if that's Chris Carson or if that's Rashad Penny, because Rashad Penny's down here, so that's it. It's gotta be Chris Carson, right? There's no way they put CJ Prosise on this list. If it's Chris Carson, I'm putting him up here in star, and I mean it when I say star. He is one of the best running backs we have in the NFL, but the problem is, one, he fumbles too much, and two, he is never on the field, similar to the Aaron Jones situation. But I think Aaron Jones beats him out with the quality that Aaron Jones gives you. But Chris Carson, man, I mean, watch, if you haven't seen Chris Carson play, please go on YouTube or something. I mean, you're already on YouTube, but please go somewhere on YouTube after this video and just watch some Chris Carson highlights. This guy is a freak. He can power through pretty much any defender in the NFL with his shoulders. He's trucking people over. He's able to hurdle over people standing up. I mean, this guy has been able to do so much at the running back position. He is everything you want and everything you need in a running back. The problem is he just fumbles the ball a little too often, and Coach Carroll really does not believe in him too much because they throw Rashad Penny in there. They throw C.J. Procise in there. They just got Carlos Hyde as well. I mean, they just have never given him that trust, which does suck for his career, but I hope that he fixes that fumbling issue and he's able to be a star running back again this season. Then we got Christian McCaffrey. He's at the top of the elite category. I'm not going to say much about him. Everyone knows how good Christian McCaffrey is. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more else you can say about this guy. He is an absolute beast. Going on over to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm going to put him in star potential. Now, talent-wise, I think he's above average, but the reason I have him in star potential is because I think that he's in the perfect fit with Kansas City. The reason why they took him in the first round over DeAndre Swift, over Jonathan Taylor, even Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins is the fact that he fits their scheme exactly how they want their running back to be. So I think that that is just a perfect fit for him. So congrats to the Chiefs for getting him, and I think that he has the potential to be a very good running back in this league for a while, simply for the fact that he's going to be on that Kansas City offense in the perfect scheme for him with Andy Reid. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, best of luck to you. I'm not the biggest fan of him coming out of college. I think he's pretty solid, but I'm not the biggest fan, but I think that he's in a perfect situation. I would not be surprised if he is a very good running back. Then we're going to go over, and we're going to throw Dalvin Cook here in the elite category. Now, one of the newest things that you're going to see about this list is that there's a lot of running backs that are going to be in the elite category, and that's simply for the fact that we have such a great talent at running back position. But the sad part is that it's getting undervalued because of their longevity concerns, of their durability concerns, as well as just not being worth the payday most of the time. So Dalvin Cook, who is going to be holding out, I mean, we saw his abilities last year. Ever since he came out of Florida State, he has been an absolute beast in the NFL. And, you know, when healthy, this guy is a top running back. The problem is he's not always healthy, and holding out for a contract might be best for him simply for the fact that if he doesn't hold out for a contract, he might get hurt and not get a contract. So I think Dalvin Cook's making the right move, but it does suck for Vikings fans going into the season not knowing what you're getting. But Dalvin Cook is an absolute beast. Then we go over to here, Damian Williams. I'm going to throw him in serviceable. People had such high expectations last year in him, and he had an amazing Super Bowl. He had a very good playoff run the year before as well. He definitely has found a home, I think, in Kansas City, but you don't draft a rookie running back in the first round if you are happy with what you have. And I think that Damian Williams, just especially with the durability as well, he's just never been able to maintain a starting role in the NFL, either with the Dolphins or with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think he's just a decent running back. You can throw him in there as a starter if you need him to. But overall, I think he's going to shine as a running back by committee kind of role. I think that's where Damian Williams is definitely going to be best. Then you go over here to DeAndre Swift. He is going to be in the star potential as well. Just arguably was the best running back in college football last year, has been for a couple years now. I mean, Swift is an absolute beast. I think that everyone thought he was going to be the first running back taken in the draft. I know I did. I like Jonathan Taylor a little bit more, but I thought Swift was going to be the number one running back taken. Ended up going a couple picks later. But definitely do love what DeAndre Swift can bring to an NFL team. I'm excited to see what he does at the NFL level here with Detroit, and I'm just very excited to see what he can do. So we'll see what DeAndre Swift can do, but I think he's in for a long NFL career. I'm very excited to see what he can do for him this year. Then we have Darryl Henderson here. I'm going to throw him in the backup. People had high expectations for him last year. I think he was a fourth-round pick from the Rams. Didn't really get too much playing time right now. I think he's like third on the depth chart. They drafted another running back in Cam Akers. I mean, he's got to prove that he can be a running back at the NFL level now with Todd Gurley gone, because he lost that backup role to Malcolm Brown last year. Rarely got on the field. I think he had like 3 carries last year. So definitely have to get on the field a lot more if you're Darryl Henderson. But right now, he's just a backup in the NFL. David Johnson here. I'm putting him at above average. I think that he's been a little bit too concerned about his health to where he very safely runs. We saw when Saquon came back from his injury last year, first few weeks, he really did not run too hard. He was kind of being very hesitant, hitting the holes, and just caring a lot about his health. And I think we see that with David Johnson. He has his payday. He doesn't want to ruin his NFL career. He wants to be safe, and that's why the Cardinals had to move on from him. Now, he's still worth DeAndre Hopkins, so he can't be less than above average at least. So I think that in Houston, he's set up to have a very good year. I'm excited to see what we can do with David Johnson's career after this year and see where he's at. But this is a guy who 2 years ago was one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in football. So David Johnson still above average, but has a ways to go. Then we got David Montgomery here. I'm throwing him here in the serviceable category. High expectations this last year, coming into the year, pretty much everyone knowing he was going to be the starting running back. So people really got a high head about him, saying, hey, this guy's going to be a great running back. This guy's starter, everything. He didn't really show anything too impressive last year. To be honest, for me, I don't think that he is anything but serviceable at this point. I think that if the Bears replaced him somewhere in the season or later on in the draft, I wouldn't be surprised. But I do think David Montgomery right now is just a serviceable running back. We'll see what he can do in this second season. Sometimes people don't hit the gates running. It just happens. So maybe he has a great second year. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, at this moment, he's serviceable. Then we throw in Derrick Henry right here into the lead category. I mean, when you have a running back that's 6'3", it's pretty hard to get someone to be good because it just seems like they're just going to be a power back. But this guy has speed. This guy is explosive. I mean, he's able to do pretty much everything you want a running back to do at such a big height and weight. I mean, he is one of the most fun players to watch in the NFL. Gotta love Derrick Henry. He's an elite running back. Then we got over here. I think this is Darius Geis. Right now, he's going to be serviceable right there. We'll put him next to Adrian Peterson. Just injuries have held him back. He had high potential. He just hasn't really been able to show any of it because of his injuries. Hopefully, he is able to figure that out and get to be a starting running back this year, but we'll see what happens. I think that right now, just the injury concerns are just a little worrisome for me. Here we go. Just letting you know, we do have a lot of guys to get to, so I'm going to try and get through this as fast as possible. I know we still have a lot. If you guys still are around, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It means a lot to me for just watching this video, so I do appreciate it. But Devin Singletary here, I'm going to put him in star potential. He had a very good rookie year last year. Took over Frank Gore's starting job, which granted, Frank Gore is very old, but he showed a lot of promise last year, even in the pass game as well as the run game. He had some big runs for Buffalo, and now with Buffalo looking like they're the leaders of the AFC East from now, I'm excited to see what he can do this next year. I think that he's a little bit better than above average. I think that he has the potential to be a very good star running back in this NFL. Then we have Zeke, of course, is an elite running back. We all know Zeke is one of the best running backs in the NFL, if not the best pound-for-pound running back at the running back position, not including the pass game, just running the football. He's arguably the best running back that we have. So, has been a beast ever since he came out of Ohio State. We knew he was going to be a beast coming out of Ohio State. I remember in my fantasy draft, his rookie year, I took him in the first round. I had the pick at the turn, so I took him and Gurley at the turn. Great season, obviously. I think I won that year. Maybe I didn't win that year. I don't know what happened, but Zeke was an absolute beast for my team. I can tell you that. So definitely has been a beast for so long. Hopefully, him and Dak are still reunited when season comes. But I'm very excited to see what I just mixed Dak and Zeke, but what Zeke can do for the upcoming year. Then here we have, I think is it Frank Gore? I'm guessing. I'm gonna put him here at serviceable. He's still running, right? Let me just make sure that there's no other. It looks weird seeing number 20, but I think that is Frank Gore. So yeah, it is weird to see that, but I think that he is still serviceable. He's still able to go out there and get you, 4 yards a carry, which is absolutely insane. But Frank Gore is an absolute time machine, man. He is a beast. He can turn back the clock whenever he wants. I really like Frank Gore, one of the best running backs of all time. Then here we have Gus Edwards, I believe. I'm going to put him as backup. He's shown flashes to be a decent running back, but, they drafted J.K. Dobbins. They still have Mark Ingram. It doesn't seem like they believe too much in him, so I'm not going to believe much in him as well. I think that he is just a backup running back at this point in time. Then we got Jalen Rashard here. He's serviceable. He's very good in the pass game. Running isn't really his specialty, but in the pass game he does very well. That's why they keep him around so much. That's why they use him still to this day. I like what Jalen Rashard can bring a team. So the move to Las Vegas, they have a good weapon in the backfield with him and Josh Jacobs. I'm excited to see what they can do. Obviously, they maintained keeping Rashard around, so obviously there's a reason for that. I think that he's a serviceable back when need be. Then you go over here to Jamal Williams. It looks like, honestly, he's above average. I think he's better than the running backs below him, and that's why I'm going to put him there. And that's crazy to think about because, he's really not a starter. But last year, when he was playing, man, he had some amazing games. I mean, amazing. The games that they didn't believe in Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams went in, stepped in, had a very good game. He was stealing a lot of touches from Aaron Jones. I think that if he was on another team and given a starting job, I think that he would actually do a pretty solid job for it. So I'm going to put him at an above average running back. I think that he's the lower end of this, but he's a little bit better than serviceable because I think that when he's in there, I think that he does special things, and teams actually have to plan around him and Aaron Jones. It's a hard concept. It's why they split carries with them. It's because they're so good. But I think that Aaron Jones obviously should have his own team, should have the lead running back role, but Jamal Williams is just too good to not put on the field. So I am in the bottom of the above average category. James Conner, I'm going to throw him there as well. He had one good year, and that was the Le'Veon Bell year when Le'Veon was holding out. But other than that, he really hasn't shown much. You know, when I watched him that year too, people were talking about how great he was. I never really saw it on the field, you know. He could do a couple things. I think it's just the offensive line was so good. I really do. But when you looked at his ability, I mean, he never really was somebody who can just, you know, do a lot on the field. I think that he was presented a great opportunity. I think he had an amazing year that year, but the more and more we get away from that year, it looks like it might have been a one-year wonder, unfortunately, which does suck because I think that he was one, it's a good story, but also he's a pretty fun running back to watch, especially with the situation that was happening. It was pretty entertaining to see him that year. But hopefully, I mean, we all saw the picture of him at the gym, how big his back is. I mean, that dude is huge. So hopefully he comes back healthy this year and can maintain his starting job. But right now, it looks like the job might be open for grabs in Pittsburgh. Then we have J.K. Dobbins here. I'm gonna put him in serviceable for right now. And the reason why I'm putting him in serviceable is because I think that this is the year they're going to groom him. They're still going to use Mark Ingram to the fullest potential, but I think that next year is when J.K. Dobbins is going to be able to actually get a role in the offense more. But right now I think that he's just going to be kind of a backup. He's going to be in for a couple plays there and there, but overall I think this is still Mark Ingram's running game, and we'll see what we can do in the running game with him this year. But I think that when you look at what Mark Ingram's going to be able to do for that team, I think it's still going to be Mark Ingram defying the odds and being one of the best running backs every year. Joe Mixon here, he's going to be a star running back as well. People really like Joe Mixon, man, and I hope that he does report to training camp whenever that is. But he is a borderline, elite player. That's how good of a running back he is. He just really hasn't taken that step. He's had a very inconsistent career, in my opinion. He has those games where it's like, oh my God, this guy's unstoppable, and then there's games where he really just isn't doing much on the ground. He needs to be more consistent, and I think that he could be an elite running back. I think that he's that good, and he's still young, man. He's still got a good career ahead of him, so we'll see what Joe Mixon can do this year if he is obviously reporting to the team, because we know that he said a while back that he was going to hold out until he gets a new contract. Then we got Jonathan Taylor here, star potential as well. I like him the most out of every running back coming out this year. DeAndre Swift was a close second, but Taylor was arguably one of the best college running backs we've ever seen and has never gotten the praise for that. Partly of that is due to Wisconsin not really being what Wisconsin once was, but what you see out of what Jonathan Taylor is just an absolute all-around back. Has the speed, has the ability to run through, hit the hole hard, hit the outside, go down the sideline. I mean, he has everything you want in a running back. He's an all-around back. He has the ability to be one of the best running backs in just a few years. I'm so excited to see Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis, man. I am so excited. I can't wait to see this guy in NFL action. Then we have Jordan Howard here, who I'm going to put as an above-average running back. Chicago gave up on him so early, but this guy was a Pro Bowler in his first or second year in the league. He was a very good running back in Chicago, and they kind of just gave up on him, didn't want to pay him. They gave him to Philly, I think, or they gave him somewhere else, I feel like. But now he's in Miami. I think he's going to be a lead back for Miami, obviously that young team, which is looking to do something big this year. I'm excited to see him. Hopefully he can get his starting job back, get back to what he was once in his first and second year. I mean, he was a very good running back for a long time. Those first 2 years, he really didn't have any poor traits about him. And now, he's kind of faded into this, should he even have a job kind of thing. No, I still think he is above average talent at the running back position. Then we got Josh Jacobs here. He's a star already after year one. Some people called the Raiders crazy for taking a running back in the first round last year. But, I mean, now I think we've already done a redraft on this draft last year. Obviously, it's pretty early to determine everything. But this is a guy who probably would have went top 10 looking back on the draft now. Just because of how great of a season he had. He was an absolute beast. I can't wait to see what he does year two, the move to Las Vegas and everything. I'm just excited to see how this Raider team plays in the new stadium and everything. So I'm very excited to see what Josh Jacobs can do this year. Just a really fun running back to have. He's a first rounder now in a lot of fantasy drafts, so I mean, props to him there. I think we have Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's star potential, and we all know that because he was elite at one point. Just two years ago. 2 years ago. Was it 2017-2018 season, or was it the 2018-2019 season? It was the same year. It was him and Alban Camara, the rookie years, were just absolutely lighting up the NFL. For better or for worse, they weren't expected to be, but they were. They were the best running backs in the NFL. I mean, no doubt about it. He should be right here next to Alban Camara because that's where he would be if he was still in Kansas City. He would have a Super Bowl ring. He would be the reason why they're just an absolute dynasty. But unfortunately, faith has not been on his side. We all know the incident that made him lose his job on Kansas City. Now, after serving a suspension in Cleveland, he came back. He showed a lot of flashes of still being that type of running back. I'm excited to see what he does this year with a full season ahead of him in a role. And, I mean, he got put with a tag that kept him here in Cleveland, but after this year, man, he could be up for a payday. I'm excited to see what Kareem Hunt can do on a new team with that star role ahead. So he has the potential to be back at that elite and star category. We'll see what happens this year with him and Nick Chubb splitting the backfield. Then we got Kenyan Drake. I think Kenyan Drake right now has star potential as well. I don't want to put him in star because really most of his career has pointed to he's not. But when he got to Arizona, he looked like one, man. He has been an absolute beast of a running back in Arizona. His first game, they were going up against a tough team. I forgot who it was, but they had a very tough matchup. His first game, he was on a short week. I think he'd been on the team for 4 days. He went out there and just completely balled out, and he had a very good season. This is a guy who is a first or second rounder in fantasy drafts this year. A lot of people are very high on him. This is a great offense to be in, especially for his abilities to catch the ball as well as run the ball. I'm very excited to see what Kenyan Drake can do. Hopefully he can hold on to that starting role in Arizona, but we'll see what happens, Then we go over to Kerryon Johnson, and it sucks right now, but he's just going to be above average. His injury really hurt them because now they have Deandre Swift, but he was one of the better running backs in the NFL for a little while, and it sucks to see that he's probably lost his job. But now I think he's still above average. I don't think he's serviceable. I think he's still a very good running back. But Deandre Swift is definitely going to take control of that backfield. Then we got over here to a rookie running back, and is this Benjamin? I'm going to be honest, I don't know who this is. I'm going to put him in backup. You can see me on camera trying to look and figure out who this is. I don't know who this is. Do they say where they got their pictures? No? Okay, well, I don't know who it is. I'm just going to put him in backup. Lat Murray is an above-average running back. He is a beast of a backup. Anytime Alban Camara is down, he is able to go in there, and he's able to light things up. Going on over to Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette is a star, and for a good reason. I mean, obviously, the situation in Jacksonville isn't the best. We all know that they haven't all gotten along there, especially Leonard Fournette. We don't know if he's going to be on the Jaguars after the season, but the dude is a beast, man. He's an absolute beast. Had one of his best seasons last year. He's looking to repeat it again this year. Hope he does. He's on my dynasty team, so it'd really help if he continues to have a very good career, because that means I don't have to replace him anytime soon. But I definitely do like what Leonard Fournette can bring you. I think that he's just an absolute beast of a running back. So definitely a star in Leonard Fournette. All right, then we go over to a weird one. At this moment in time, Le'Veon Bell is the top of the star category. It's just simply for the fact that he unfortunately did not have a good year last year, and I think a lot of that has to do with Adam Gase and how they ran their offense and stuff like that, and the offensive line being horrible. But better offensive line, hopefully either Adam Gase gets fired or he figures out how to be an NFL coach and can give Le'Veon Bell the touches he deserves. But when he really did have a good game, it was fun to watch, because this is one of the most fun running backs to watch in his career. So I hope that he can regain the abilities that he had in Pittsburgh. Obviously it was a good offensive line and stuff, but I mean, this guy is such a beast. He has such a high IQ for the game. I really love watching this guy play. He's one of my favorite running backs in the NFL. Hopefully he can regain that with the Jets this year. Then we got Mark Ingram here. Mark Ingram's going to be a star as well. Every year he gets disrespected. People act like he's not consistently one of the best running backs we have every year, but he really is. He always performs so well, and him and Lamar Jackson have just been such a good tandem. He's a Pro Bowler almost every year. He's been a Pro Bowler with the Ravens, obviously, in his late age, but also when they drafted Alban Camara and him were both Pro Bowlers. I mean, this guy is always defying the odds, defying age, and doing such a good job with it. Very big fan of Mark Ingram. Then we went over to Marlon Mack here, who I think right now is still, like Kerryon Johnson, losing his job, but still a pretty good running back in the NFL. When he's playing, he was a difference maker on the Colts. It was a big difference from him and Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Wilkins and stuff like that behind him. So there's definitely a big gap from him in the backups. But now with them having Jonathan Taylor, I think that he's probably out of a starting job. But he's still a pretty good running back. I think that this kind of shows, people like Marlon Mack and Kerryon Johnson most years would be starting running backs and be very good and have a secure job. And now with how good the NFL is, they're not good enough. They have to draft a guy like Deandre Swift or Jonathan Taylor over him, and it sucks to see, but it happens, man. Then we're going over here to Matt Breida. Matt Breida is going to be serviceable. I think that he has a chance to be a very good running back if he gets the role. But, even in San Francisco, he never really got the role. Mostert was outshining him a little bit. Then, obviously, Tevin Coleman came back. He was doing very well. So, maybe Matt Breida will have a better role in Miami. But as of right now, I can't really see him as much higher than serviceable. I don't think he's in the category with Marlon Mack and Kerryon Johnson. He's just he's a serviceable running back is what it is. If he's starting, he won't hurt you. That's pretty much what I'll say. Melvin Gordon, star running back here. close to an elite. When he came back from the suspension holdout kind of thing last year, he still was a very good running back. People don't really understand that he was that good. So has been one of the best running backs in the NFL since he came in. Kind of lost that a little bit last year with the holdout, but now he's in a new home in Denver. We'll see how good he can do with his new team. Miles Sanders here, I'm giving him star potential. He had a very good rookie year, and people are expecting him to have a breakout second year this year, and I'm interested to see it. I really hope that he can. I think he's an interesting guy to have this starting role in Philadelphia. He fits him very well. Very good out of the backfield catcher. If he becomes a beast of a running back, I think teams are going to look at Penn State every year and say, look, back to years, we had Saquon Barkley and then Miles Sanders come out, and both of them were absolute beasts. So let's look at this Penn State school a little bit more for running backs. But he is a very good running back. I'm excited to see what he can do after this year. Then we go over here to Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is an absolute beast. There's no way I can't keep him out of the elite category after the last year. When he took over for Carlos Hyde, was it first year? Yeah, Carlos Hyde was the running back, right? When he took over for him in that first year, I was like, okay, we'll see. They traded Carlos Hyde. They're giving him the starting job. Let's see what he does. He absolutely beasted. He was very good. Then last year we came into it. Everyone's like, oh, Browns Super Bowl chances. Well, the only person that looked like he could have gotten them to the Super Bowl was Nick Chubb. I mean, this guy is able to hit the hole hard. He is able to power through pretty much anybody, but he still has the speed to break off 80-yard touchdown runs. I love watching him play. He's an absolute fun running back to watch. I guess you can play with him in Madden, but that I don't know. He's fun to watch and play as in Madden, I guess you could say. Nyheim Hines, I think I'm going to throw him in backup. He's really not ever going to be a starting running back. He's just there for kind of pass-catching roles. Then we go over here to Peyton Barber, I believe. Also, I'm going to throw down here in backup. I don't think that he's going to be a starting running back anytime soon. He has a chance to be one of the 8 running backs on the roster for the Redskins, but we'll see what he can do. I think that the Buccaneers not keeping him around kind of shows that they're not really too much of a believer in him. So we'll see if he's still a running back in the NFL after this year. Phillip Lindsey here, he has the potential to be a star. I think that's what he is right now. Is that obviously Melvin Gordon is going to hold him back, but when you look at what Phillip Lindsey has done from being an undrafted player to this good, I mean, so quickly, he's very fun to watch. If he kept that starting role, I think he could have gotten up to a star, but as of right now, he's a little bit under star. I think he's a little bit above average, a little bit more above average than the guys below him, though, so I'm going to put him there in the star potential. Then we over here at Raheem Mostert. At this moment in time, I don't want to say star potential. I mean, the dude's like 28 right now. I guess you have to put him in star potential, though, because he really has taken over that 49ers backfield, and they're expected to pay him pretty well. He took over for Tevin Coleman, for Jerick McKinnon, for Matt Breida, for everybody, and he has run away with that job. He was the reason they were getting through the playoffs and to the playoffs so highly, because this guy was just an absolute beast of a runner. He has not given up. I mean, the story is amazing for him as well. I'm excited to see him get the actual full starting job this upcoming season. Then we have Rashad Penny. I'm going to put him in serviceable. Might be a little unpopular, but I think that if he was given a starting role, if they believed in him a lot more, he could be a decent running back. He was a first-round pick, but as of right now, I mean, Chris Carson just outshined him. That's not his fault. Chris Carson is just an absolute beast, but he could be a decent running back if he was given the starting role. I don't think that he is deserving of being this backup. I think that it should be a little bit of a committee, and that's kind of what they run there, so I'll give Rashad Penny the benefit of the doubt. Throw him up there in serviceable. I won't throw him all the way down at backup. Ronald Jones, I'll also throw in serviceable. He had some very good games last year, but the problem is that Jameis Winston threw too many interceptions, and they were down a lot, so they were not able to run the ball a lot. Now this year with Brady and Gronk coming in to join them, I mean, he should be able to run the ball a lot more. I'm excited to see what they can do with Ronald Jones, unless they take Keyshawn Vaughn over him, which that could be who. This might be Keyshawn Vaughn, actually. But I'm just going to act like I don't know who it is. I think it might be Keyshawn Vaughn, though, out of, I think it was Vanderbilt. Kind of looks like Vanderbilt's uniforms, but we'll go on without it. But yeah, I think Ronald Jones has a good opportunity to be a pretty solid running back this year. Saquon Barkley is obviously elite as well, one of the best running backs in the NFL. Injury hurt him a little bit last year, but when he came a couple games after he came back from injury, he was right back to being Saquon Barkley. I think his last 3 weeks he had 500 yards or something like that. I mean, guy's an absolute beast. Love that he's on my team. Just an absolute beast. I mean, I can't get enough of this guy. Just a great guy outside of the game, too. Very good role model for everybody as well. So exactly what you want in your franchise running back. Then here we have Sony Michele. Sony Michele, I think, is serviceable. Now, once again, another guy who has an opportunity to get a lot of production this year. With Brady gone, they're going to have to rely on the run game a little bit more. I think that Michele could have a good year, but so far he's just been kind of average. He's shown flashes sometimes, but overall hasn't been the best. I think he's at the top serviceable, to be honest, but yeah, he just really hasn't been the best so far. Then we got Tarik Cohen, who I think also is serviceable. He got overhyped because he was just a perfect fit for Nagy's scheme, but ever since then, Nagy hasn't been doing too well. Trubisky hasn't been doing too well, and that in turn means Tarik Cohen's not able to do it as well. So hopefully he can get back to what he was a couple years ago, because it was fun to watch Tarik Cohen kind of run around the field. This little guy just absolutely beasting, but right now he looks like he's a backup running back with really high kick return potential. So I think right now he's serviceable. Then we go over here to Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman's above average. When he came back for San Francisco, he came out with a bang. He was very good. Raheem Mostert started to shine over him a little bit much, but they both started running really well. So I'm excited to see what they can do with this 1-2 punch, even with Jared McKinnon joining them, hopefully healthy finally for this year. So I'm excited to see what they can do, but right now he is above average. Todd Gurley, star potential, man. I think he's right there with those guys. I want to put him in star. I'm going to put him in star. He deserves it, man. This is Todd freaking Gurley we're talking about. He's one of the best running backs we've seen. One of the best running backs I've ever seen. But, you know, the injuries have held him back. He really was not able to nurse that too well because of the Super Bowl. He wasn't able, you know, they were fighting that year, so he had to play in the Super Bowl. And last year, he probably wasn't ready to play, but he was out there every day. So hopefully this long off season, he's able to just really heal up and get ready to join the Atlanta Falcons. I'm excited to see what he can do here in Atlanta. They have a pretty solid offensive line that's growing and they're young as well. So we'll see what they can do in Atlanta. I'm excited to see him in a fresh new place with a new start on a new team. And then the very last running back out of Utah, I know who this is, and I cannot think of who it is for some reason. So, once again, just putting him back up to rookie. But this is going to be my tier list. I think that I honestly don't really see anything else I really want to change. I think that everyone's pretty much set pretty well. So, let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who do you have in different spots? Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Of course, send me your tier list as well. You can send it to me on Twitter. You can send it on Instagram, or you can just leave it in the comment section below if you really want to type all that out. That's more power to you. But like I said, if you are new to the channel, please be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. If you didn't enjoy the video, just refresh the page, check it out again, and let me know what you think a second time. Without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.